unique twin boom configuration that you see on the aeroplane is actually a practicality from the designer, because the aeroplane inherently was going to be fairly heavy, big, heavy, solid lump of an engine, and they wanted the aeroplane to have reasonable performance so the airframe couldn't be too heavy. So the designers looked at a way of getting weight out of the aeroplane. Now, the rear of the aeroplane really only has a big tube that the hot gas from the engine will flow through, and it attaches the tail surfaces. So they looked at the configuration and said, how can we do this lightly? And they came up with this unique twin boom configuration, which was actually a bit of a trademark or a hallmark of the de Havilland trainer and fighter designs. There's a heavier version of this aeroplane called a Sea Venom, which had an upgraded engine and was a physically larger aeroplane that was actually used by the Royal Australian Navy and was even used to great effect off the carrier, the HMAS Melbourne.
And then, of course, on from there they had the Sea Vixen, which was a bigger aircraft again, used by the Royal Navy overseas, and still in twin boom configuration, but that was about the ultimate limit of that particular design.
Now, the pilot's a little bit of a, you might even call it a bit of a throwback, wouldn't you? He's a current RAAF pilot that's had a fairly distinguished career and has driven some leading-edge fighters, and now he's in a vampire.
Yes, well, Al Clements is one of the newer pilots that we have here to display the aircraft. He's gone through a fairly rigorous training program to become fully conversant with all the ways of the Vampire. So Al's previous time was spent flying FA-18 Hornets with the RAF, so he's finding this particular aircraft just a little bit down on performance that he's used to in those Hornets, I'd say by a significant amount, but displaying it very well and quite used to the engine of this aircraft now.
I was actually talking to Al about operating the aeroplane in the way that the museum requires it to be operated, and he was saying it's a very interesting thing to pretty much realign your head to operate an aeroplane in a safe environment. You're operating an F-18 to the edges of its flight envelope virtually every flight, because the aeroplane's very expensive to operate, so you need the maximum amount of training out of each flight. Something like this is designed to be cared for. It's designed, he designs his sequence to pass. And Al was saying to me that it really was an interesting thing to sit down and design a sequence that showed off the aeroplane and not necessarily the pilot's flying ability or the end of the envelope that you could do with, say, an F-18, where it's your taxpayer dollars on display, so he wants to maximise that. Whereas really what he's doing now is showing you a lovely old aeroplane, how it sounds, how it looks and how it feels.
Also in the FA-18, if he moves the controls, there's no physical connection between his control stick and the control circuit.